Hello, welcome to the i5 Cars Auto Group's telephone handling skills and appointment taking workshop. Pull up a chair and get prepared to be amazed and intrigued. Or just have some fun. So let's get started. Alright, let's take a look at what we're going to learn today. First, the only proper way to greet our customers on the phone. Secondly, how to transfer phone calls internally and externally. Third, how to set a proper service and parts appointment. And hopefully, if we all engage today, you'll leave willing and able to do this every customer, every time. You'll hear throughout this presentation that every customer, every time is really the focus on everything we try to do. Let's take a look at just a typical phone greeting as we expect it to happen here in i5 Cars. Hello, Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat Service. This is Dale. I can help you. Now, you can modify the Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat Service. That's quite a mouthful. Chrysler Jeep Dodge, hello Dodge Service, Chrysler Service, i5 Chrysler. Take your pick, fine-tune it to your store, practice it, because it will make a difference if it comes out sounding sincere and enthusiastic, and that's what our customers need to hear. Again, say it with a smile. It does show through. Service Bob. Okay, that's the old school greeting. This guy, Bob. That's why he doesn't work for i5 Cars anymore. What does his tone of voice say? Do you want to do business here? What's your first impression? Does it sound familiar? If it does, you need to change. We've all talked to that guy. We've all had that experience where right off the bat we scratched our head and said, is this really the kind of place that's going to give me the level of service I deserve as a new or used car customer with i5 Cars? This is Bob in service. What can I help you with? No. Sorry. Hang on just a second. Somebody's talking to me. All right, there we go. Boy, people just don't even see you when you have a phone up to your ear. What can I do for you? Yeah. No, Jim, I need it by 2. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, you need to make an appointment? Okay, how about this approach from Bob? Does this work for you? Does he seem distracted maybe? How about disconnected, unfocused, ultimately insincere? Let's talk about, as we go through this, how to make sure that you put yourself in your customer's shoes. They need to know that you're focused on just them and them alone. When you pick up the phone, multitasking needs to stop. You need to be able to put down the keyboard, put down the pen, stop outside conversations, and just focus for that few minutes on the customer that picked up the phone. It'll make a world of difference. Hello, this is Dale with i5 Chrysler Jeep Dodge Service. I can help you. Now, that approach really, I hope anyways, sounded enthusiastic, was very clear and to the point, identified myself and the department I'm in, however you want to do that to make it comfortable so it's smooth and transitions easy for you. But hopefully the customer just felt nothing but a sincere, energetic, welcoming hello for their first interaction with the company. Let's take a look at it a little deeper. Now, I know this seems like we may be going a little too far or focusing a little too much on just that simple little one-line greeting, but let's talk about why it matters. Why does it matter so much to put this kind of emphasis on it? First off, we want our customers to feel genuinely welcome, and we want them to feel that right away. Everybody judges interactions with fellow human beings within just the first few seconds of anybody opening their mouth or shaking a hand or picking up a phone. Secondly, we don't want them to feel as if they're interrupting something more important than them. They called in, they've got a car they spent a lot of money on, they've got an issue with it, typically when they call our department, and they need to know that we're focused. Their needs are important. It's really the only thing we're going to focus on at that moment. And finally, to set the tone that they are the most important right from the beginning. How you say that, the way your voice tone changes, the way it doesn't change, the way you interact with them, the background noise, making them repeat themselves too many times, all of that stuff has to matter, and it does matter to customers. Service, this is Dale, I-5 Chrysler Jeep Dodge. I can help you. Oh, you're looking for Brock? Sure, let me check and see if he's available. You know what? It looks like he's at his desk. Give me just a moment and I'm going to transfer you through. Hi, Brock. I've got Mrs. Smith on the other line. If you're free right now, I'll just hang up and she'll connect with you. Great. I'll send her through. All right, so that's kind of the process, what it sounds like anyways, of going through a proper transfer. What we've done here is really try to be proactive and professional with our phone process so customers don't end up in voicemail limbo or speaking to somebody and having to repeat themselves all over again. So what did we accomplish with this simple little process? Well, first off, we made the customer feel welcome with our greeting and sincere, focused conversation. We ensured they went to a live body and not into voicemail limbo. Nothing I hate more than calling to speak to a person, being told I'm going to be sent to that person just to get dumped into voicemail. And also, we set the foundation for creating a sense of our competence to the customer by the way we handled our phone calls and how professionally and efficient we help them through the system. Finally, as I said before, we kept the process efficient, which is going to save us all time and make our day a lot easier. All right, let's talk about taking a message for a few minutes. When we look around our department now, we typically see or hear a dozen different ways of taking messages. Voicemail, email, message tablet, sticky notes, palm of the hand, scrap of a floor mat. No, really, scrap of a floor mat. I saw it. What's the right way? Or what's the only way? I'm sorry, Mr. Groot. Dale is not available at the moment. Would you like to leave a message on his voicemail, or may I take a message for him? Drum roll. That's awesome. I made that sound effect. Well, not on my own drum, but you get the point. So great. Give me just a moment and I'll transfer you through to his voicemail. So sending him to voicemail, really easy to do. While the call is live, select the transfer button, enter the extension, and after the messaging system picks up, just hang up. That is the easy way. It's really that simple. Customers know where they're going. You've told them where they're going. They're expecting voicemail. Quick, easy. You've made sure the employee is not at their desk or that they're expecting this call to come in to voicemail. It's really smooth. That really is the best approach for a voicemail. Now, taking a message, little different. Great, Mr. Groot. Let me collect a little information then. Your name, please. Your preferred method of contact. Phone, email, text. It's really important nowadays to ask a customer what their preferred method is. I know over the years, I've gone from phone to email to text, back to phone, back to text. People change their mind on how they want to be communicated with. A lot of it has to do with what they're doing for the day. They're going to be at work, going to be tied up with the kids, going into the dentist. Most people nowadays, I think, if prompted, are going to say email or text, which is going to open the door to collect that email to get their authorization to text, so we can convert, as time will prove, to text as the country, the nation, the people, society lead towards text in the future. Questions, concerns? All right. Thank you, Mr. Groot. I'll get that message to him right away. Have a great day. Now, one other thing I might encourage you to start changing in your vocabulary. I love please, thank yous. That's very important, one way or the other, to get that message out that we are sincere, that we are enthusiastic, that we are appreciative. You might try replacing thank you in a lot of situations with my pleasure. It's just a little change, gets people thinking about it. It's a little different approach. I think it's more sincere if you pull it off right and you get it worked into your word tracks where it's smooth and seamless. You may have noticed earlier on a lot of my phone interactions when I announce who I am, dealer department that I work with, I never say anymore, how can I help you or what may I do for you? Change that term, I changed it anyways, to I can help you. Reason being, it's just something a little different. It commits to the customer psychologically that I'm committing to helping them. It forces me to commit because I just made that promise that I can help you. So it's just a little different way of doing things. And I think those little tiny things, like the old Blockbuster video thing, anybody used to go in the stores back in the days of renting videos? Hello, welcome to Blockbuster as soon as you walk in the door. They kind of started a trend with that. A lot of companies do it now. Just a tweak to something that we've always done, a little bit different. Same thing with I can help you or my pleasure versus a thank you. Give it a thought, but make sure when you do it, you practice it. Get in front of the mirror, get in front of the family dog, talk to your kids, although they're probably going to laugh at you, so I prefer the family dog, and practice your routine. Until it's comfortable for you and it rolls off your tongue seamlessly, it's going to appear the same way to customers too. So let's move on to the next slide. So what's next, you might ask? Well, email is the fastest and most efficient way to send that customer's message to your coworkers. So if a customer asks you to take a message for them and hand deliver it, maybe they've tried voicemail and failed, didn't get a call back in a timely manner, or maybe they just don't like voicemail. Offering to deliver that message to them is always a good option. Personally, in today's world of technology, I can see no better way to do it than email to your employee, to your fellow coworker. That way you've got a paper trail of it. You can even attach a read receipt so you know they've looked at it. And if they didn't, you can send it again, or you can prompt them with a little phone call. But email is definitely a great paper trail, a great way to stress a point. You can communicate a little bit better. Same reason customers prefer email and text, so they can get back to you or respond if they want to, if they have time, when it's convenient for them. Same reason we'd email our fellow coworkers. If they don't have computer access, use a proper notepad, not a scrap of anything, and deliver the message to that employee's workstation immediately. Always time and date your handwritten messages. Not trying to say that we're trying to micromanage our coworkers, our peers, but we're trying to cover ourselves. We're trying to prove to the customer that we're efficient and effective and professional. Time and date helps hold everybody to a higher standard. Okay, that is annoying, right? Ever get that annoying phone call? Busy with somebody else, got other things to do, more important things to do, not sure how to react? Whew. But Miss Pell, I'm too busy. I got a customer in front of me, so I'm too busy to answer that. Somebody else is going to have to answer that. Ever face that yourself? Well, it's not going to happen, folks. You've got to learn to multitask and multitask with a smile. Customers understand that you've got to pick up that phone. If they're the ones on the other end of that line, they're going to understand why they never get answered. So if you got somebody standing in front of you and your phone starts to ring, you really have to learn how to multitask, interrupt the customer very briefly, and take that call, take a message, and move on. So both the customer on the phone and the customer in front of you feel like they're important, correct? So let's just run through it. You got a customer standing in front of you and the phone rings before you're through. You got to be able to multitask and handle this. Pretty simple way to do it. You just got to follow it to a T. Excuse me for just a moment, Mr. and Miss Smith. I just need to take a message here. So stop briefly. Pick up the phone. Identify to the customer on the phone immediately that you're with somebody. So it needs to sound as if you're sincere, their call is important, you're going to assure them that you're going to get back to them. It's just the way you handle it. You kind of control the conversation, maybe in some cases a little more than customers would prefer, but it does set the tone right away that this can't be a lengthy phone call. I've got somebody in front of me. Please give me your name and number, and I will get right back to you. Let's just run through it real quick, shall we? So take a listen. All right, Mr. Smith, if you could give me just a moment, please. I've got this phone ring and I just want to take a message. I'll call them back, but give me just a moment and I'll clear this phone. Pick it up. Hello? This is Dale in Chrysler Jeep Dodge Service. I'm with another client right now, but if you could, please give me your name and number. I'll get back to you as soon as I finish this transaction. Perfect. Thank you very much. All right, that's easy. The customer in front of you, you kept your commitment with, told them it was going to be short and sweet, and that you'd get right back with them. You got onto the people that were waiting on the phone and got their call cleared, made them a commitment that you're with somebody, but you'll get right back to them. Then what's the very next thing you need to do? The second you're done with the customer that's in front of you, you need to follow through and call that other client back immediately. You don't want to get caught up doing 3 or 4 or 5 other things. If there's more customers in line, they've likely heard you say that. If they didn't, explain to them, give me just a moment, sir or ma'am. I promised this other customer I'd get right back to them. I just need to make a quick phone call, handle that, and we can get started with your transaction. Easy, everybody's in the loop. They feel like you're communicating with them. You're not hiding anything. You're not stammering. Nobody has to feel bad about that. They all understand if it was them, they'd want to be taken care of the exact same way. All right, let's move on to the next. Okay, let's wrap up that little bit. The point is, if you take the time to display concern for both the live customer and the phone customer, you'll send a message to both that they are equally as important. Learn our process, hone your skills. This job doesn't get easy just by chance. We all practice and execute until we get good at it. You know, I mentioned a couple slides back that it's a good idea to sit down in front of the mirror or sit in front of your spouse, sit in front of the kids, the dog. Practice your craft. Practice those things that you say on a regular basis. The CSI conversation, telephone welcomes, and other lines that you know you're going to use multiple times throughout each and every day. My favorite is the dog. I like sitting in front of the dog. You know, we talked about earlier how say it with a smile, one of our very first slides. Say it with a smile. The dog, that's a great proof of what say it with a smile means. You can say virtually anything to your dog as long as you have a smile on your face. He's going to be wagging his tail, right? Same thing doesn't happen with your spouse, I guarantee you. So the point, find a way to practice it. I personally think looking in the mirror is great too. You get to see how you come across to a customer, your facial expressions, your sincerity, all that good stuff. All those little things matter, and all those little things matter even if you're just on the phone, because what you're feeling, how you're looking, makes a difference in the tone of voice that you use on the phone. Back in the day, we used to put a mirror up on advisors' computer stations or appointment coordinators' computer stations so they could see what they look like and know that that's translating through whatever it is to their customer that's on the phone. So, good advice, even if it's coming from me. Trust me, it's not just me talking. It's good advice. Go home, practice, get good at what you do. Okay, welcome back from our little break. Hope you enjoyed the little Monty Python fest. So, our next section of this training module is going to be discussing appointments and the customer, and kind of not as much the mechanics of an appointment, although we will cover a little bit of that, but more so about kind of setting expectations, some word tracks that'll help things stick out in a customer's mind, kind of guiding a customer through our appointment process in a way that makes sense for us while still making the customer feel like they have some control over their appointment process as well, and everybody's happy in the end. So most every store in our group manages appointments a little differently than the next. This module is going to try to attempt to get all of us using the best practices of all of our stores and a little more. So let's start with the basics. Who are we speaking to? Now that we've mastered the phones, our appointment coordinator's on the phone and ready to set an appointment. The first thing we need to know, of course, is who we're speaking with. Keep in mind that the following data should be refreshed every single time a customer phones in for appointment, not just the first time callers. So where to start? For the time being, we're using CDK, our in-house DMS, to schedule appointments. So in CDK, log in through Service Writer, of course, select A for the appointment, modify, change appointment, or quote. You can access a customer info a couple of different ways if they have purchased anything from us in the past. Name or phone number, VIN number, license plate, really depending how we set it up in the system, but most of those should be functional ways to track down our customer, locate them in the system. All right, so for some of the information you're going to try and collect from a customer, their first question on their mind is going to be, why do you need it? And you need to be able to know how to overcome those objections, whether it's the customer telling you they don't have email, which is very, very rare nowadays, very rare in any community in this country, um, or that they don't use email, or they simply just don't want to provide it to you. They want to know why you want it at all. So a lot of people paranoid about spamming and getting their identity shared with other companies and etc. So email. The majority of our communication nowadays from both the factory and our auto group is going to be provided via email. Now, our email penetration here in this company is a little bit light because we haven't made it a priority to collect that data. Um, but that's something we're working on. We're hoping to get upwards of 90% or better, ideally 100%. I think federal statistics that recently came out thought that nationwide, even in the most rural of areas in the United States, is 91% of the people in this country have email, and globally it was even 81%, which when you really think about it, on this planet, even in undeveloped nations, to have that kind of percentage globally, pretty amazing stuff. So, stands to reason that people in our community most likely have email. You walk into our waiting room at almost any time of the day, and just about everybody in there is staring at a smartphone surfing the internet. I assure you that most people with a smartphone have email address. So let's assume that all of our customers do, because that's the only way we're going to be effective. How do we convince our customer that we need their email? What's the reasons we're going to give them? A big one nowadays, and I find the most successful and effective way of getting the email, is safety recalls. They're sent directly through email nowadays to customers, as well as our CSI surveys, Customer Satisfaction Index. Extremely important we get that data, and the more the merrier. The higher volume of surveys we get returned truly offsets any one or two customers a month that may have a less than perfect experience. So really important we get email penetration up. Our appointment reminders, coupon specials within the company announcements, all of that stuff we hope to be able to be doing by majority through email in the very near future. The expense alone on what it costs to do a direct postcard piece at 75 or 80 cents even, third rate mail, third class, sorry about that, is really expensive when you're talking about mailing to 9 or 10,000 people, whereas an email campaign you can develop in-house and send out virtually free of cost. So really some good reasons for us to collect the email. Now we just got to convince the customer or approach it in a way with word tracks that allows them to feel comfortable giving their email to us.